If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
The tension between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot around the upcoming Snow White film has reached new heights, fueled not only by their apparent off-screen clashes but by political controversies that have added a layer of complexity to their professional relationship. With the release of the Snow White trailer drawing both massive views and mixed reactions, the drama has continued to escalate, putting Zegler at the center of a rapidly developing controversy. According to reports, Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, has reportedly found herself at odds with Zegler, who plays Snow White, in ways that go beyond the typical on-set tension. Gadot, a prominent Israeli actress with a history of supporting her country's stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict, has publicly advocated for peace while firmly condemning violence by groups like Hamas. Zegler, however, recently made a bold statement by posting "Always Remember Free Palestine" on social media following the teaser release. This post came right after she thanked fans for their support, despite initial criticism over her casting, and the timing of her statement struck many as especially charged. The impact of this message from Zegler was swift and divisive. Many supporters who had initially defended her casting turned critical, feeling the political statement was out of place on a major press tour. The resulting backlash has led some fans to call for a boycott of Snow White, claiming that Zegler's comments were inappropriate for a promotional campaign. For Disney, which has relied heavily on fan support to revitalize beloved stories, such controversy threatens the film's box office performance. Snow White represents a major project for the studio, and a dip in audience reception could put not only Zegler but also Gadot and the entire cast and crew in a precarious position. The tensions between Zegler and Gadot are further complicated by their starkly different backgrounds. Gadot's personal connection to Israel includes mandatory service in the Israel Defense Forces (IDF), which is common for Israeli citizens. As such, Gadot's ties to Israel are deeply personal, and she has openly condemned violence against her nation while advocating for peace. Her vocal support of Israel, particularly in recent conflicts, is well known, and some fans saw Zegler's comments as insensitive to Gadot's background and beliefs. In the entertainment world, high-profile political statements during a press tour can be risky, particularly when they diverge from the views of colleagues. This incident recalls previous controversies where public figures' personal beliefs have affected film releases and relationships with co-stars. For Zegler, whose career is relatively new, navigating the public response to her statement alongside the weight of a Snow White boycott places her in a unique and challenging position. Significant backlash, casting a shadow over the film, and igniting debates over her choice to discuss such a sensitive topic in a professional setting. In response, Gal Gadot, who portrays the evil queen opposite Zegler's Snow White, took a different approach. Rather than addressing the controversy head-on, Gadot posted a Martin Luther King Jr. quote on her Instagram story, emphasizing the importance of love and light driving out darkness, a message of peace that felt like a subtle contrast to Zegler's charged comments. Gadot's message, while diplomatic, seemed to hint at her stance on the issue, suggesting a preference for unity and positive dialogue. The post was widely interpreted as a veiled reminder of the importance of sensitivity, particularly given Gadot's own history as an Israeli citizen with personal ties to the conflict. Beyond their own interpersonal tension, this controversy between Zegler and Gadot has ignited debates among fans regarding the role of entertainers in political discussions. While many support Zegler's right to express her views, others argue that using her platform during a film promotion is unwise and potentially alienating. For Gadot, a seasoned actress who has learned to balance her political beliefs with her on-screen roles, and the potential consequences of wielding it. Whether this controversy will impact the success of Snow White remains to be seen, but it has already ensured that the film will be one of the most talked about releases of the year, for reasons well beyond the plot. Rachel Zegler's recent comments and social media posts have stirred up a storm, particularly in her promotional activities for Disney's Snow White. What initially seemed like a routine press tour has quickly spiraled into a controversy that places both Zegler and her co-star Gal Gadot at the center of an increasingly tense narrative. Zegler's outspoken comments on political issues, particularly her Free Palestine post during the Snow White promo period, sparked. This scenario serves as a reminder of the delicate balance entertainers must maintain between their personal and professional personas. With the film's release approaching, Disney now faces the difficult task of managing a project marred by unforeseen tension. The stakes are high, as Snow White is one of the studio's most iconic stories, and Disney has invested heavily in this live-action remake. For Zegler, who has been cast as a reimagined Snow White, the stakes are equally significant. This role was a prime opportunity to showcase her talent to a global audience. But as calls for a boycott intensify, her approach to the role is now under scrutiny, not just in terms of performance, but as part of a broader debate over actors' responsibilities in the public eye. Ultimately, The unfolding drama between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot reflects the intersection of entertainment and politics in today's media landscape. With fans divided, Disney is left to determine how best to proceed in promoting Snow White while navigating the backlash and preserving the integrity of the film. In a world where actor statements can quickly go viral, Zegler's post serves as a reminder of the influence celebrities. That brings a modern feminist slant to the classic story, trading romance for a mission to rule her kingdom and make bold moves. So, if you're hoping for the fairy tale love story that has traditionally defined Snow White, you may be in for a surprise. Instead of true love, Snow White is focused on leadership and ambition, embodying a contemporary twist that makes her more CEO than Cinderella. Disney's 2023 D23 showcase offered a sneak peek of the remake, and the reaction was mixed. Many fans found themselves comparing the teaser to the 1937 classic, noting how drastically the new version has departed from the original. In Disney's first adaptation, Snow White stumbles upon the dwarf's cottage, assumes children live there, and out of pure kindness decides to clean it up. Enlisting the help of her animal friends, she shows herself as a nurturing, compassionate character, a woman with a heart as big as her dreams. This scene wasn't just charming, it underscored her gentle, giving nature, a key aspect of her character. But Zegler's Snow White, it seems, has no intention of following suit. In fact, she sounds almost dismissive of the beloved classic, as if she's on a mission to distance herself from it. Her commentary about the storyline and characters, especially her remarks about the prince, whom she referred to as a creepy guy who stalks Snow White, have been met with raised eyebrows. Sure, some may argue she has a point about the need for updated perspectives, but the original Snow White holds a special place in Disney's history and in fans' hearts. Its characters have a timeless appeal that many still cherish, and the new direction seems to diverge sharply from this legacy. Zegler has hinted at some major changes in the story. According to her, Snow White's love interest won't be a traditional prince this time around. Instead, Andrew Burnap, cast in a new role, seems to be more of a supporting character than a role. But the tension didn't stop there. In a bolder move, Gadot retweeted a post calling out individuals who use campaigns to overshadow the lived experiences of those directly affected by war. This retweet was perceived as a direct response to Zegler, signaling Gadot's frustration with her co-star's perceived insensitivity. For Gadot, whose identity is closely tied to her heritage and past service in the Israeli military, Zegler's comments likely felt personal. In a world where every word and action can be scrutinized online, the Snow White saga highlights the importance of choosing one's battles carefully, especially when they threaten to overshadow the story itself. When Andrew Garfield first donned the Spider-Man suit, he didn't exactly cash in big, making around half of what Rachel Zegler is reportedly set to earn for Snow White. Garfield took on the role and paycheck without complaint, diving into the character and letting the opportunity speak for itself. In contrast, Zegler's recent remarks about wanting to be paid for every streaming hour of Snow White, essentially asking for royalties with each view, haven't exactly endeared her to the public. Many see her comments as entitled, and social media reactions reveal that a large number of fans are increasingly critical of her attitude. The casting of Zegler as Snow White has already raised eyebrows. For some, she seems like an unconventional choice, and her recent interviews have made the decision even more controversial. In these interviews, Zegler doesn't seem to hold the original 1937 Snow White in high regard. Questioned whether she understood the privilege of landing such a high-profile role early in her career. The perceived contrast between Zegler's attitude and the humility typically associated with Snow White has only fueled the skepticism. Critics argue that Zegler's statements make her seem more concerned with the financial benefits of the role than the responsibility of portraying a classic Disney character. This is compounded by reports of her earnings reportedly around $2 million for Snow White, a substantial figure for a young actress still establishing her career. By comparison, other actors who have taken on similarly iconic roles have typically approached these opportunities with a sense of gratitude rather than entitlement. Speculation and fans divided over the political implications threatens to overshadow the film itself. The controversies surrounding Zegler aren't limited to her political statements. Even her approach to the role has raised eyebrows. Many fans were already skeptical of Disney's casting choice, questioning whether Zegler fit the traditional image of Snow White. In response, Zegler made statements that further alienated some fans, including comments about her compensation for playing the iconic princess. Specifically, she stated that if she were to spend long hours dressed as Snow White, she should be paid for every time the film is streamed online. This comment came across to many as tone-deaf, more reflective of a reality TV star than an actress embodying a beloved fairy tale character, leading some to. And the retweet came across as a clear expression of her disappointment. As the Snow White press tour progressed, the tension between the two actresses became hard to ignore. At Disney's D23 event, where both stars were scheduled to promote the film, fans and media quickly noticed the palpable awkwardness between them. Photos and videos from the event went viral, showing Gadot's enthusiastic energy in contrast to Zegler's visibly uncomfortable demeanor. While Gadot attempted to maintain a warm appearance, even putting an arm around her co-star, Zegler's body language appeared stiff and uneasy, leading fans to speculate about the extent of their off-screen feud. For Disney, these developments represent an unexpected challenge. The studio had high hopes for Snow White, one of its most beloved and iconic stories, now adapted into a live-action format meant to captivate a new generation of fans. However, Zegler's comments, coupled with the visible tension between her and Gadot, have transformed the project into a potential PR disaster. This unfolding drama combined with social media. In the end, Disney now faces a difficult decision on how to navigate the Snow White controversy. With the film's release looming, the studio must consider whether to reframe the narrative, distance itself from the drama, or focus its promotional efforts on other aspects of the production. Regardless of Disney's approach, the drama between Zegler and Gadot serves as a reminder of the delicate balance actors must strike between their personal beliefs and professional responsibilities. Instead of the soft-hearted caretaker Disney fans remember, this Snow White is more of a corporate CEO, dishing out tasks with little personal involvement. The character shift has led many fans to question what Snow White brings to the table in this new version. If she's not contributing to the household or showing her nurturing side, what defines her as a leader or a heroine? In trying to make her more modern and assertive, the remake may risk losing some of the essence that has made Snow White such an enduring and beloved character. The shift towards a modern feminist twist in Snow White may appeal to some, but others are left wondering whether the changes will overshadow the timeless charm that has kept the original story alive for decades. For fans hoping to see Snow White as a kind, caring soul, this new portrayal may come as a disappointment. Instead of the sweet-hearted princess who won audiences over in 1937, this Snow White seems poised to present an entirely new vision, one focused on power and independence, but missing some of the magic that made the original a classic. While Zegler is quick to take charge, it raises the question of whether this is Disney's modern feminist critique on domestic roles. However, one can't help but wonder why the dwarfs would even allow her to stay if she isn't contributing. Disney's attempt to update Snow White for contemporary audiences seems to be missing a vital element: basic storytelling. In their eagerness to steer clear of traditional roles and embrace modern identity politics, they have sacrificed genuine character depth and a compelling narrative. What we're left with is a Snow White who feels more like a guest who has overstayed her welcome than the fairy tale heroine we've come to love. Then there's the plot. The central conflict revolves around Gal Gadot's evil queen being envious of Snow White's beauty. Really? In a world filled with magic mirrors and malevolent royalty, we're expected to believe the mirror suddenly decided to tell a lie? The film appears to stumble over its own premise, creating confusion rather than intrigue. Comments have emerged online that encapsulate the general sentiment about the casting choices. In a particularly telling scene, Snow White confidently declares to the prince, "I don't need a man." His response, "That's fine. I'm here for your stepmom." This punchline perfectly captures the film's struggle to blend its feminist twist with any semblance of coherence. If the film continues to trip over itself in this manner, it might require more than just a magic mirror to salvage the story. Rachel Zegler has certainly not remained silent in the face of criticism, especially as it seems that the internet favors her co-star, Gal Gadot. True to her style, Zegler fired back on Instagram with a not-so-subtle move. She posted selfies with the caption, "The fairest." This was a clear dig at anyone who disagrees with her, and a bold claim to the title of the prettiest. However, this audacious move didn't go quite as smoothly as she had hoped. The comment section turned into a battleground, with many fans siding with Gadot, praising her beauty and calling out Zegler for coming off as a diva. Instead of having the last laugh, Zegler inadvertently handed her critics more ammunition. As if things couldn't get any more complicated, Disney is preparing for another round of marketing after all the delays. Both Rachel and Gal are set to return to the press tour, complete with interviews and talk show appearances. The timing couldn't be worse, and Disney is likely sweating bullets as they scramble to manage this drama while trying to preserve the movie's reputation. So, what's next? Will Rachel and Gal be able to play nice, or is this feud poised to turn Disney's promotional efforts into an absolute nightmare? With tensions escalating, it's evident that Disney's approach to reimagining its classics is facing serious. In this updated take, Snow White appears in the dwarf's home with a much more assertive demeanor, barking out orders instead of tidying up or earning her place. There's no cleaning, no helping, just a stark, authoritative tone, as if she's stepping in as the boss rather than a guest. She instructs the dwarfs to clean up after themselves, observing from the sidelines instead of pitching in. The question remains whether they can turn the ship around before the movie's release, or if this drama will overshadow everything they've worked to create. As we approach the launch, all eyes will be on how Disney navigates this turbulent situation and whether the film can rise above the chaos or succumb to it entirely. Disney has become adept at transforming its classic animated fairy tales into live-action reboots. While films like Beauty and the Beast, The Jungle Book, and The Lion King have found success at the box office despite mixed reviews, others have flopped so spectacularly that Disney might prefer to bury them under the proverbial magic carpet. Yet, the studio persists, determined to modernize its animated classics regardless of audience reception. Unfortunately for Snow White, it appears to be heading toward the latter category. So, what went wrong? Beyond the ongoing cast drama, the studio's creative decisions have not done them any favors. Initially slated for a March 2024 release, Snow White has been pushed back an entire year to March 2025. While Disney officially cited the SAG-AFTRA strike as the reason for this delay, a full year seems excessive for that alone. It's more likely that the studio needed extra time to address significant issues, especially following the backlash from leaked, painfully showcased in the trailer. Instead of embracing actors with dwarfism who would have been a logical and inclusive choice, Disney chose digital creations. This decision raises eyebrows. Using dwarf actors to portray dwarfs is not only sensible but also a chance to highlight talented individuals in a role that doesn't come around often. If the backlash weren't enough, Disney's decision has also proved costly. The film's budget, originally set at a hefty $200 million, has swelled to an astonishing $330 million, placing it among the top 10 most expensive films ever made. Yes, even more than Avengers: Infinity War, a movie filled with actual superheroes battling across galaxies. This financial strain doesn't even account for marketing expenses, and theaters will be taking their share of the box office earnings. Industry experts are already predicting that Snow White will need to generate approximately $900 million, potentially even up to $1 billion, just to break even. Given the trailer's reception, that target seems far-fetched. While it may not be the most disliked trailer ever, it holds the unfortunate title of being Disney's most ratioed one, boasting 7 million views with just 70,000 likes and a staggering 1 million dislikes. That's 1 like for every 10 dislikes, a brutal ratio that paints a grim picture for the film's future. With such a chilly reception, Snow White looks poised to become a colossal financial and reputational disaster for Disney. The company has struggled to deliver hits recently, and although films like Inside Out 2 and Deadpool 3 provided brief moments of redemption, Snow White threatens to plunge them back into flop territory. As the release date approaches, one has to wonder if the ongoing feud between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot will impact the film's success. With tensions running high, can Disney steer this ship around, or are we witnessing the making of the next big disaster? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.